how y'all doing? It's PawPaw again. And I know y'all ain't never seen me wear gloves. God, I hate to wear gloves. I hate to wear gloves. But I'm gonna be handling these rags. Got paint thinner all over them. Normally I don't worry about it. Get a little paint thinner on my hands. Ain't no big deal. Go wash them and go on. But I got a feel I'm gonna be sitting here a while. You see, because on this part of the deck building is my rails for underneath the handrail where the babies don't fall off the deck and hurt themselves. And the first thing I got to do is get this stuff clean. I mean, I just handled one handful of this stuff. I think I might have just been these 4 little pieces right here. Drove back to the farm. Helped set the door in. I had that black crap on my hands. Got the dadgum nice white door jamb black where I touched it. Oh, it made me it just aggravated the fool out of me. And so I'm using paint thinner, and what I use for rags is in washcloths. You buy like 18 washcloths at Walmart, real cheap. And heck, they're cheaper than buying shop towels, and they work fine. Use them just about anything. But what we're going to make here, and what I hope to show you in a few minutes, I'm not going to sit here and clean every one of these pieces on the camera. But what we're going to do is we're going to fabricate us up a jig out of 2x4s to lay this metal in so that I can weld it up. The idea being that I want well, you'll see it, but it's going to have a horizontal rail up here, horizontal rail down here, and then the vertical's 4 inches on center. The building codes, or some kind of codes, calls for gaps no wider than 4 inches. So an input can't, get through it and fall. And this is 1/2 inch square tubing, and I'm going to be welding it 4 inches on center. And what that means is I'm making a mark every 4 inches on the top and bottom rail, and that's where I'm going to center these vertical bars. And by centering them, that means I've got 1/4 inch of one of them protruding on one side of the line, 1/4 inch of the other proceeding on the inside of the line, and that gives me 3.5 inch opening. So that's the plan. And once I get all these wiped down, and there's a bunch of them. Once I get all these wiped down, get most of this blackness off of them, I'll be back and we'll rig us up a jig and start welding. Lord, it's hot. I might have to get a fan out here. Lord, it's hot. Okay. What I'm doing here is I'm working on doing the rails. Silly tripod. I do want to tell you that when you're going to try to make up something like this, my opinion, and remember now folks, that's just my opinion. If you think you're better at something, knock yourself out. And if you have a different opinion, knock yourself out, but I don't want to hear it. Because it's hot, I'm sweating, and I'm doing it my way. Anyway, the first thing you got to do is get the very first 2 pieces put together perfectly square. If you get the first ones all out of square, then it ain't going to work the rest of the way. You're going to be transmitting your error all the way through. So what I'm doing here is all I'm going to do first is I'm going to weld that one joint right there. Then I'll come back down to the bottom rail and I'll get it square and weld it. I have the horizontals marked every 4 inches. Well, I got to tell you, I'm very, very proud of my son-in-law. He did an outstanding job putting that vinyl back around that door, putting the J channel around it. Shoot, he even cut little 45-degree angles on that J channel, make it look pretty. For those of you that's wondering about the wire that was running across underneath where that window was, there was an outlet on, as we're looking at it right now, on the left side was an outlet in the house. And that's where the wire actually terminated. So we just pulled the wire out, left the receptacle and everything there just as a dummy, just so it wouldn't have a hole in the wall, and came over here then and put in a weatherproof receptacle so that we've got power out here on the deck. So it worked out really good. Alright, well there's the door in all its splendor. We've still got to paint the trim. It's only primed, but we're going to do that when we paint the inside trim as well. Well, there's the door. Well, my next step, after I got my framework square, was to go in here. Let me show you. Oop. After I made sure that this piece was on the marks and square, use a little square, then I went to the other end all the way down here and I did the same thing. I made sure it was square. I checked all four corners to make sure everything was right. And then it was just a matter of laying these in place and welding them in. Weld them on both sides, and grind it off, maybe it'll look better when I paint them. Now, to mount these, here's my idea, is I'm taking little pieces of metal, like this. This is a 1/2 inch wide, about 1/8 of an inch thick. And I'm cutting little pieces about 1 inch long. And I'm welding these on the end. See if I can show you here. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Just want to focus on everything except that. There it goes. You can see right. Well, it's kind of hard for me to put my finger on. Anyway, right here is where that piece is, and I do that all four corners. And then when I set this up between my and drill holes in them, I'll drill a hole through here for a screw. And then when I set this up in between my post under my handrails, then we'll just shoot a screw in it and it's done. So that's the plan. That's the first one. We've only got about 10 more of these things to do. I'll check back in with you when I get all this welding done. It's a lot of it. A lot of it. Alright. I'll be back in a day or two. For you, it'll be just a few minutes. A few seconds. Well, we're still working on this deck. Whew. I tell you what, it's been so miserable hot. And my grandson's birthday was today, but they're having the party 3 days from now. My son-in-law has got the stain done on the post and on the handrails, waiting on me to bring these rails in. Shit. I've only got 5 sets done, or five rails done. I got to do a total of 12. And I got to get them all welded, grind down the rough welds, touch it up. I've got to clean them, I got to paint them, and I got to install them. and that's probably what you'll see on the next little bit of this video is me installing them. But I wanted to show you something I'm doing here. You see that right there? What I did is I took my little Harbor Freight grinder with that little 1/8 inch cutting wheel, and I made a mark every inch on here. And then I took this strap, this strip, this piece of metal to my drill press to drill the holes in them. A whole lot easier to do that than it is to try to hold a little bitty tiny piece, drill a hole in it. I got to thinking about this after I'd already made 2 rails and had welded on the tabs but didn't have holes in them. I said, shit, that's gonna be a pain in the ass. That's gonna be a pain in the ass to drill a hole in. So I've done it this way, and now then every time I have a rail here, I take my grinder and I cut off 4 pieces and I weld these on, and then these are the mounting tabs that I use to mount this between the 4x4s. Okay? Well, folks, that's all I got right now. We'll be back in a little bit with the hopefully me maybe painting them. Maybe we'll show you painting them. I want to show all the steps. All right. Be back in a little bit. Bye. How y'all doing, folks? It's PawPaw, and we're here to finally show out a little bit. Finally finish this deck, and well, I say finish. Still need to stain the actual surface that we walk on, but we got the rails done. I thought I'd show it to you right fast. People have been wondering where in the heck I've been. I've been just busy working on these rails because my daughter asked me, she says, can you have us a deck built in time for Carter's birthday party? I said, when is it? She said, September 9th. I said, this is August 1st or 2nd. Of course I can. It's September 9th. And I was up 4:30 this morning getting a shower, getting everything loaded up to come on over here. But I got her done. Let me show you. About to have the party, but it's done. Closer enough. Anyway, here are the rails I welded up, and I think they turned out really nice. The only screws I had are white-headed, so we'll have to, when we're touching up the paint, we'll have to go back in and take some Q-tips or tiny brushes or something. But my daughter asked me where I bought the rails. I said, I didn't buy them rails. I put them together myself. So there's the finished product, and I think it turned out pretty nice. Let me show you a little more of it. The balloon.
There's balloons in the house, Carter?
And that's where the windows were. Okay. I'm real proud of my son-in-law. He did a real fine job on that door there, trimming it out with the white vinyl. He did a really nice job. I'm gonna redo that handrail so it going up the stairs so it matches the rest, and probably put the metal railing under it too. But that's the deck, y'all. It took a while to get her done, but it's done. And it looks pretty good, even if I do say so myself. So, like I said, somebody said, boy, Pawpaw, you sure built that strong. And I said, that's because that's the last one I probably ever built. So in other words, folks, don't y'all even think about calling me to build a deck. I have retired from deck building. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my videos. Y'all have a wonderful day and a better tomorrow. Bye, everybody.